Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would absolutely love it if you love this content, if you would like, share, comment, and subscribe because it all helps this channel. I know we have a few new subscribers since the last video I made, so hello! I hope you guys are here to stay. And for those of you guys who are kind of unsure of what you're gonna see here, I am a reality TV show obsessed girly. I am going to be recapping, reviewing, and also finding tea and just other things that are not found on the show for various different reality shows. The shows that we have kind of going on now is The Circle. However, The Circle is ending, but The Ultimatum South Africa is starting tomorrow, which I am so excited about. I cannot wait to watch it. And I'm also still recapping The Never Ever Met, which is this mess of a show. That's actually what this recap is going to be on. You could also expect some pop culture videos. I did recently do my take on the Kendrick versus Drake beef as someone who is not super deep into it, is not the biggest rap fan, but you know, has a decent idea of what's going on. So if you want kind of a light and easy breakdown, you can check that out. And I also did a video on the Amanda Seales Club Shay Shay interview. So if you want to check that video out, those are also on my channel under the Tea with Lex playlist, which there is also some other pop culture videos I did. I talked about Quiet on Set a while back. So if you're interested in any of those things, definitely check them out. If you're interested in other shows I've recapped, I did recap Love is Blind and did an immense deep dive on all of the tea that was there. So if you're happening to look for some commentary on the previous season of Love is Blind, also check that out. So thank you guys so much for supporting this channel though. Hi to all the new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you will find something that you like here. But today we are going to get into The Never Ever Met episodes 2 and 3. Sorry that they're not separate recaps. I was in Puerto Rico couple of weeks ago now, and so because of that I did not have the opportunity to record an episode 2 recap, so I want to kind of touch on episode 2 and then head into episode 3. I think the show doesn't have a lot to talk, well, it does have a lot to talk about, but it all kind of blends together, so I think it'll be fine having one recap. So let's get into the show. Okay, so starting off on episode 2, we have Dominique and Alexis, and at this point, if you are anywhere on social media, you would know that Dominique and Alexis have done multiple interviews. I watched a couple from a couple of different YouTubers that, you know, basically they have done their rounds, especially Dominique, talking about how he didn't realize that what he did was DV. He didn't realize what DV even was, he claimed. He said in his life, people never talked about that. And that Alexis also didn't see it that way. So he had found out from the audience, basically, that this was all DV, which, okay, I think they're both doubling down that, you know, this was staged. They wanted to create some drama. In one of his interviews, Dominique did reveal that he was looking to, I think, get his family out the hood or pay for something for his mom or something. I don't really remember. So he was saying that he did the show in order to get money. For me, I cannot for the life of me understand, especially as Alexis, like why you would even agree to doing something like this, make yourself look so bad on TV. Both of you guys look terrible on TV. Was it worth it? Do these shows even pay that much? I don't know, but that's kind of the interview junket. If you want to check those out, I mean, you could just search up Dominique Never Ever Met's interviews. There's plenty online. But in the show, Dominique and Alexis start off episode 2 still fighting.
So tonight, he yelling at me like I'm his child. I'm embarrassed. I'm scared. It's crazy. And I don't care.
How you want to disrespect me? How I would disrespect you?
Dominique claims he hasn't flirted with anyone, but Alexis is flirting with everyone. Because remember, he's upset that Alexis was talking about Greg's Hoochie Daddy shorts. And again, I did not take that as her flirting. I'm not saying it was appropriate, and I'm not saying that like I would not be mad if like my man was talking about some girl's shorts or her butt. Like I definitely would be, but I didn't really look at it as, oh my gosh, she's trying to flirt with Greg. She wants him so badly. So At this point, Dominique does go to a hotel for the night. We pan over to Shay and Josh, who over these 2 episodes, we see that they just have great physical chemistry. I had a lot of questions again about him having a baby on her, which is explained in episode 3, but the 2 of them seem to be very in love. As of right now, they seem to be maybe the only couple that has a chance of actually making it outside of this show, in my opinion. So the men are talking about the incident with, why can't I think of it? Dominique, sorry. The men are talking about the incident with Dominique, and they're basically saying that it was his ego being bruised, that him seeing her flirting really bruised his ego, made him feel upset, and that's why he reacted the way that he did, while the women and Aaron H, older Aaron, that's with Diamond, they were talking to Alexis, letting her know, like, look, physical abuse should never be okay. This should not be a thing. Don't get into a habit of making excuses for him, because it starts off small, it starts off as a little incident, and it continues to explode and escalate. So Taronda, the host, and Alexis have a sit down.
What happened was he brings up, you flirting with these dudes. And I'm like, what dudes I'm flirting with? And then he came up to me and he, with his hand like this, blah, 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 blah. And then like he pushed me.
And they discussed the incident. You know, she's asking her, how are you? How are you feeling? And Alexis does say that she claims that they had a good date, their first date. Remember their yoga mat date, which I was like, question mark. She talked about how the chemistry was there and things like that. Sorry guys, there's like something on my eye. That's, you know, recording is always a mess for me. But she said that the date was good. I believe she said there was physical chemistry, which again, she kept saying that, and I was like, I don't know if it's acting since they knew each other and there was pretend for the show, or if she really felt like the physical chemistry was good. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know if I 100% buy that they fully staged this entire thing for the show. I still think they're kind of trying to double back because it's embarrassing and they realize that everyone is shaming them. At least that's what I want to think. I don't know. I'm still not fully buying that they just staged this, they knew each other, and they wanted to spice up the show. It just, to me, I don't get it. How could you think that getting into a physical altercation is something that people want to see? Like, how badly do you think of the viewers that watch these kind of shows? I don't know. So Alexis continues and says he started drinking and he started acting differently. And Taronda's like, but that's not an excuse. Like, it's not an excuse. It doesn't matter if you're drunk, if you're intoxicated. You don't get to, like, act in the way that he acted. So again, everyone's trying to kind of tell Alexis, like, look, like, you don't get to act any way you want because you're drunk. Like, it's not fair. So they play a message from Dominique.
Got to, and me getting in your face and all that. So I'm not mad about nothing. Hopefully we can, you know what I'm saying, just sweep it under the rug, but not get to that space no more. I want us to enjoy, you know, the rest of the time here.
And he says that he wants to sweep this whole incident under the rug. He wants to forget about it. And Alexis is like not sure what's going on. So we do pan over to Sienna and Brandan, and they talk about having a visit to where each other lives because, and the reason why they haven't had one in the past is because he has 2 young kids and couldn't visit, which I don't get it. If you have 2 young kids and can't visit them, how can you be on a reality TV show for, I'm presuming this is at least 2 weeks, right? I'm presuming the show is at least 2 weeks, if not longer. So how can you be on this reality show, but you have your kids and you could never meet this woman? Okay. So anyway, Alexis leaves the show due to Dominique. She says, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't think this is for me. She ends up leaving. And obviously, of course, because Alexis leaves, Dominique has to leave as well. So Dominique says this is a character building experience. He's still young and he's gonna continue to meet women online. Okay, Dominique. Okay, get these 2 off my screen. And now we can talk about the rest of the couples that may or may not be real. Okay, so Sandia and Chris, they talk about the incident with Chris being in the kitchen, talking about how Sandia and he are not in a relationship.
Exclusive, she's not my girlfriend, I'm not her boyfriend. I talk to a lot of girls. I have definitely never said that I want to flirt with anybody's girl because number one, I don't find anybody's girl here even attractive. That's the first thing.
That's the thing, you didn't even have to mention that.
But I never said anything about flirting with any.
Flirts with many women, they're not official, blah, blah, blah. So they kind of discuss that situation. So he claims that he never said that he wanted to flirt with any other girls, when pretty sure we saw him say that he wanted to flirt with other girls. Sandia does agree that they are not in a committed relationship, but she did feel disrespected by the way he was saying that. And Chris takes no accountability during this whole entire conversation. He claims the reason why he said this is because he does not trust her and he does not trust women, and therefore he needs to build the trust with her. It's just baffling to me. It's just baffling to me. Like, my thing is, look, it's fine if you guys are not in a committed relationship, but if you're in an experiment that is a test to figure out if you are going to be in a committed relationship, I don't know. To me, it seems like you should probably try to show your partner the reasons why they should want to be with you in a committed way. And I think also for Sandia, it's like, girl, look at what this man is showing you. Look at how he's acting. Don't just ignore those things, because if he can't even right now do it, what makes you think when you guys are committed, if you guys get committed, that it's actually going to turn into something? So I was proud to see Sandia sticking up for herself, though, because I remember that I cited in the first episode that I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to stand up for herself. So Chris also says Sandia is too emotional, and it's just red flags, red flags, red flags. The man saying he doesn't trust her. Fine, fair. I'm not even saying that it's wrong for him to not trust her. You guys have barely ever met in person. I agree with that to some level, but I think that to say you don't trust her, she's emotional, it's like, I don't know. Like, obviously she has feelings for you, and that's why she's emotional. But okay, so Aaron and Joanna, these two are really not, it's not there. It's really not there. So Joanna is not in the hot tub with like everyone else.
Oh, this man came out with the Michael B. Jordan abs.
So what's up, man? Where's your girl, bro?
She is not with the water, G. Black woman trying to maintain her hair, she ain't trying to have no extra effort. I don't like clinginess and being all up in somebody's face.
Aaron and a couple of other people are in the hot tub, and excuse me, Joanna's not there because she's not clingy. And they keep clutching onto this we're not clingy thing, you know, that's the reason why we're not together, because we're not clingy. Now, Aaron says that she's the first girl that he's ever met that's not clingy in that way. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was with somebody and I hadn't met them in years, I don't remember how long these two were dating, but if I hadn't met my partner for some extended period of time and we just met in person, I would probably want to be trying to have as much time together. I'm not saying you have to be up under each other every single minute of every day, but I would be trying to have as much time as possible where I'm figuring out, is the chemistry there? Is the in-person banter there? Do we connect in that way? Do we feel comfortable? Do we feel safe with each other? So for y'all two to be always constantly on opposite sides of the house, and when you do talk, it's only fighting, I don't know. I just want Joanna to admit she doesn't like Aaron. I just want her to admit already that she wants a different kind of man. Let's be so for real. She wants a different kind of man. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with Aaron, but I'm just saying I don't think she wants Aaron. Okay, we'll leave it there. So they do reveal that they have a boom boom room. And now they have this Kama Sutra activity where they each have to do different Kama Sutra poses, you know, get on top of each other and whatnot to see if there is physical chemistry.
I can't even say what is the attraction between Joanna and Aaron. I don't see it. I don't. And I feel like maybe they're just friends.
Going the wrong way, sir.
Is the other way?
The leg is the other way.
Feet on the ground. Somewhat. Somewhat. How about you?
I just feel like I'm about to turn on the TV.
Wow. So remember, this task will force you to communicate and work together.
So Joanna and Aaron have no attraction. These two, it is like so awkward watching the two of them do this activity. Diamond notices, and when the host, Taronda, asks, how do you feel about Aaron? Joanna can't even answer. Like, she can't even say, like, oh, I feel good, I feel bad. Like, she literally cannot say anything. So the attraction is really not there. It's painfully awkward. And again, I wish that Joanna would just admit that she does not like Aaron. I just wish she would admit that she wants, you know, she doesn't have to be mean about it, but it's like, girl, we all know you want a different kind of man. Like, I feel like that's very clear and very obvious. So, Brandan and Sienna, they also have a very awkward activity. So, Brandan says he feels bored by the pose. And I was like, oh my God. So, because Brandan said, he makes some comment like, oh, let's just watch TV or something. And this throws off Sienna completely. She says that, you know, again, the chemistry, she's just not feeling it there. She really wants to build this in-person chemistry. And Sienna's always talking about how she's so worried if the online chemistry is going to translate in person. And Brandan just like was not interested in the activity. So again, another couple where it's like not really seeing it right now. And I think that is a big sign. I think as a couple, if you can't be in those intimate, in those serious moments, I just feel like the compatibility might not be there. Like, it's one thing to be nervous, but it's another thing to kind of be in these activities and like not even be able to immerse yourself. I don't know. It was weird. So they were the only two that were really of note for me. So after the activity, Brandan and Sienna have a talk. They're playing pool.
With Sienna, I feel like there's a lot of projecting based off her past. I consistently try to listen to her. I consistently try to communicate with her. But it comes to a point where it's like, you can't win.
And Sienna is like, I'm not moving to Florida. And Brandan claims that Sienna was originally open to it, and I believe they do roll the tape and show that she was originally open to it. But now she's claiming that she would not live together without being married, which this is what I'm talking about with long distance relationships, where it's like, I just feel like it doesn't work. Because if you're a person like Sienna, where, you know, you're not going to live with a man before you're married to him, how is it going to work then? Because there's no way that you guys could just visit each other here and there and then decide off of a few visits here and there that you guys are going to get married. Like, trust me. Trust me. Just take my word for it on that one, okay? There's no way that you could figure out after some visits or whatever, or after very minimal time together, that someone is the person you want to marry. It's just not realistic. So for me, it's like, again, like, I don't understand. For Sienna, especially, like, if you're somebody that knows you staunchly want to be with somebody and you don't want to be with someone, marry someone beforehand, why are you in a long distance relationship? It just doesn't make sense. So he gets upset at this point and he starts to call her inconsistent. And he also says that she doesn't really listen when he's talking, which is true. We see Sienna cut Brandan off all the time. All the time. And then at this point, she gets upset because, like, she's trying to talk about her feelings and he gives a little chuckle and she calls him a bitch. And she brings up him having kids with multiple women. And Brandan kind of comes to the confessional. Is like, look, I was married at 20 because I'm from the South. You know, it was common, like we had a kid together, but like, I don't know. And this is what I mean. It's like, I think Sienna has very toxic behavior where it seems like she lashes out, and when she feels threatened, she just lashes out and throws everything on the table. And I think that's a really toxic and scary trait to be in a relationship with, because it's like, why are you putting this man on blast? Why are you first calling him out of his name and then you're bringing up his personal business? Like, to me, it is really toxic. Like, why are you like this? So Sienna puts Brandan's failed relationships on blast, as I said, and she goes into this whole thing where she talks about how she feels like you should always stay in your marriage. And at this point, they're talking to some of the other people in the house, and she's like, you should always stay in your marriage. Like, why was your marriage failed? If you have a kid and you're married, you should have stayed together, which, again, another toxic mindset. Another very, very toxic mindset, in my opinion. You know, as somebody who was in an awful marriage and got the hell out of that thing, I would hate it if someone said to me, oh, you should have stayed in it no matter what. It's like, no. People who get married young, which, again, I relate to this a bit, you understand that sometimes the marriage that you're in is not meant to be. It's not meant to be. And sometimes you make decisions when you're young and your brain isn't fully formed and you realize, whoa, this is not it. So I think for Sienna to be throwing out there that he should have stayed in this marriage, he should have stayed with the kid, it's just not right. And for her to, in general, be trying to make him look bad and make him look like he's this awful guy. Well, look, we don't know a lot about him, I feel like. I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but the reality is, for her to be throwing all these things back in his face is incredibly toxic. So at this point, they both admit that they feel like it's platonic. And Brandan says if he had to choose right now, if he was going to leave with Sienna, they would not leave together. So that's how we end off episode 2. Going into episode 3. Sorry, I'll pull my notes up. Shay and Josh are in the intimacy suite. Again, these two are like so in love. They are having their best life. They are, I mean, again, they seem like the only couple that even has the slightest chance of leaving with one another. We don't really see a lot of drama between them right now. So Brandan and Sienna and Aaron H. and Diamond are having a conversation.
Nobody mediating me. The third party, I don't know what your intentions are. That person could be trying to wrestle you away from me.
Still talking.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So Sienna again repeats that there is no intimacy there, but she's trying to get there as much as she can. She also claims that she does not have communication issues, even though we've seen that she gets hostile. We've seen she doesn't let people talk. And she never lets him speak. She never lets him speak. Even in this conversation with Aaron and Diamond, it's like Sienna is just cutting him off and dominating the conversation. And it's like, girl, what is wrong with you? So Brandan claims that I said this wrong. Sienna claims that the reason why she called Brandan a bitch is because he started laughing when they were playing pool and she was trying to be vulnerable. And she took it a different way. But basically, Brandan admits, like, he has nervous laughter. And I've been a person that's had nervous laughter, so I get that. He was like, I just felt nervous. I felt like in this conversation, like, things were getting heated. And because of that, I started laughing. Sienna now sees, like, whoa, I took this the wrong way. I thought you were laughing at me instead of you just having a nervous laughter. And so she says in her confessional, like, that's the crazy thing about being in person versus being online, is like every single day you're learning something different about your partner. She had no idea that Brandan had this nervous laughter. And so now, she's realized, like, I went off on this guy for nothing. And this is what I mean again, where it's like, why is Sienna such a loose cannon, in my opinion? It's like, you realize that, you realize now that you're blowing up because of this man's personality traits, even though you barely know him. And I think that should be a reflection moment for you to see, like, okay, maybe I need to give this man a chance rather than always looking for something negative. I feel like she's always ready to jump and pounce, and I don't know if Sienna has like bad relationships in her past. I don't know if she had mentioned or talked about that, but I just feel like Sienna acts like someone who is very easily triggered by everything, and it's not fair to Brandan. I mean, we don't see Brandan cuss her out, blow up on her. And so to me, it's like, if I don't see, it's not like there's anything I see in him that would require that behavior. Okay. So, like I said, Sienna, she says she's having trouble getting over the virtual aspect of the relationship. Obviously, virtually, there's no like cussing each other out and yelling and doing this and that. It's way different. So Greg and Aaron H are kind of over at the pool talking about how there's no chemistry between Jody and Aaron, the other Aaron. And everybody's kind of noticing that these two are never together. They seem very distant. They're not fighting per se, but they're definitely not around each other very often. So the whole house has a group dinner, and they play this game where they have to vote which couple is the most of something.
I'm taking accountability.
Chris, why did you choose that couple?
I feel like Sienna can kind of calm down a little bit on Brendan. I feel like he tries to like gravitate towards you in a positive way, and you're kind of like...
So Brandan and Sienna are voted as the most dramatic couple and also the most to need couples therapy. Aaron says that however, Aaron voted Jody and Aaron, other Aaron, need therapy because they're never together. So Jody claims she doesn't like physical touch. It's like, well, I guess it makes sense that you were in an online relationship then if you don't like physical touch. And then Aaron says something like, hey, look, we don't have to be around each other all the time. There are plenty of couples that live in separate houses and still have successful marriages. And again, I don't know, to have just met your partner and already be in a position where you both realize that you don't want to be around each other like that, to me, it seems like that means that this is not compatible, which we can obviously see these two are definitely not compatible. But I just think to already be discussing living in separate houses, and y'all have never even tried living you guys have lived in the same house now for the first time ever, and you guys are already to talk about living in separate houses? That ain't a good sign. So Aaron H and Millie, at this point, they think that Jody may like Chris because Chris had said something, and Jody is always commenting on what Chris says. Jody is always laughing at Chris, giving more compliments to Chris than she even gives to her own man, Aaron. And so people are starting to kind of pick up like, it seems like there's a little something there. So the couple that is voted the least compatible and has the most arguments is, again, Sienna and Brandan. So basically, by a clean sweep, Sienna and Brandan are voted the worst couple on this show right now in this game. So Taronda, the host, she comes back and she announces that the families will start coming to meet the partners starting tomorrow. So we see Brandan and his friend Matt.
Perspective.
All right, so I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go back to charades.
You better win.
I'm gonna try. I'm a pleasure. Likewise, nice to meet you.
He can see the overall landscape that I can't see. Oh, man.
Man, tell me about the house. Tell me.
So Brandan claims that there is chemistry between him and Sienna, excuse me, but he is like a little, he talks about how she called him a bitch. Now, his friend is like, give some, I thought, kind of trash advice. I ain't gonna hold you, but his friend was like, look, it's a good test to figure out if you have compatible communication styles. You guys had this big fight, so now how you guys come out of this fight is going to be great to show, can you guys communicate? Can you guys not communicate? Do you guys communicate compatibly? Which I think it's clear and obvious they don't. So that's basically the conversation with Brandan and his friend. There wasn't a whole lot there, but he's still standing by the fact that there was something there between him and Sienna. Now, Shay and Josh and Aaron and Diamond are having a conversation. Diamond and Aaron are basically asking, are you guys planning to get married? And they do admit that they are planning a wedding. That it's not going to be immediate, but it is definitely in the cards. So they do finally touch on the topic of Josh having a baby on Shay.
She told me you had a baby on her.
It was literally just a roommate situation, and just bullshit ended up happening, and then the baby ended up coming.
Okay.
I respected him because he didn't wait 9 months. He didn't wait.
And basically the way that he explains it is that he was in a roommate situation and it just kind of happened. Look, if Shay likes the answer, I love it. For me personally, I would not just take that answer and go along with it. I don't know, but I feel like he's acting like it's normal to just have a baby with your roommate. Like, who is this roommate? Was it a random woman? Is it a woman he knows? Was it an ex? Was it his ex-baby mama? You know, we didn't get a lot of details, but it seems like whatever it is, Shay is okay with it. I don't know. I worry about it. But Shay's cool with that. And all of them just kind of go on from it. Like, even in the conversation, they just go on like, oh my God, well, we're so excited for the wedding, Aaron and Diamond. Like, everybody just took that answer. So I don't know if there was maybe a deeper answer that they don't want to talk about on TV. But it seems like everybody is good. So at this point, Sienna's friend Gigi comes.
Yeah. We've been arguing. We have had arguments, yeah.
What are you arguing about?
He thinks I'm overly emotional. Story of my life. And then last night, being that he and I were having our differences, instead of...
And, you know, Sienna, again, admits that the online to in-person, like, transfer of feelings, chemistry, etc., is not what she thought it was going to be. You know, she says that... She talks about how he said that she is overly emotional, Brandan. And also talks about how he had called the Kama Sutra activity boring. So she says that if they can get back to her, if she can get back to her original feelings for him prior to getting here, that maybe they can get physical, but as of right now, it's not really on the table. But she doesn't want to fall into a cycle of fighting and getting back together. And again, I think Brandan and Sienna, particularly Sienna, is a very good example of, again, why I am not a believer in extended long-distance relationships, because I just think sometimes the in-person chemistry isn't there. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that Sienna is very toxic. I think she has a toxic personality. I think that she doesn't communicate well. I think that she is an instigator. I just think there's a lot of things Sienna does that show me why maybe she hasn't had a successful relationship yet, because it just seems like she is a difficult person. But again, I think with Sienna and with Jody, I wonder, you know, if the reason why both of them are so aggressive about their partner is because they don't really feel that physical attraction. I feel like it's really easy to call someone out and get angry at them and pick at every little thing they do if you don't find them physically attractive. So, anyway, so at this point, you know, Millie and Greg are in the hot tub and they're just kind of talking. They're really happy. You know, they seem to be fine and they're just swimming around. And then Greg goes in for a kiss that Millie was very visibly uncomfortable with. Like, it was very clear she was not into it. So Millie is talking to the girls after this, and she is saying that she is not happy that Greg went for the kiss. She says that she wants to feel like it is organic, you know, their chemistry and physical intimacy, rather than feeling like he's just there to get in her pants, which I don't know. I think obviously I think you should, of course, be comfortable with what you're looking for. I don't know that I've seen anything personally that indicated to me that Greg is trying to get in her pants. But again, maybe there's things we didn't see. And if she wasn't comfortable with it, then of course, I understand that. So Jody and Chris, again, are like kikiing, laughing in the kitchen. And again, as I said, it's just so clear that there is something between the two of them. I'm not saying it's necessarily romantic, but obviously they seem to get along better than Jody and Aaron do. And Sandia, once again, is just sitting in the kitchen watching her man flirting or being flirty with another woman that is not her. And it's like, Sandia, how many times are you going to let this man disrespect you? So Aaron H and Diamond go to the boom boom room. The only thing of note there is Aaron has a foot fetish. Diamond does say she is saving herself for marriage, so they don't have any like they don't have sex or anything like that. But yeah, Aaron admits that he has a foot fetish, and so they seem to get along that way. So Aaron and Jody are now fighting. And it's, to me, it wasn't really that clear what the fight even started over. I think it started over like asking if he wanted another drink or something. I don't know. I missed kind of what the fight started about. But Brandan and Sienna are also still talking. So at this point, they're in the bedroom, and Sienna is approaching Brandan for calling her boring in the Kama Sutra game, which he didn't call her boring. He called the pose boring, but okay. And he had a conversation with Millie, so she was asking, what did you say to Millie? What did you say to Millie? What did you say to Millie? He refuses to say something. If you recall, he had said in that conversation, like, stupid things are blowing up, and it's, you know, they're just blowing up over dumb things. That's essentially what he said, but he refuses to tell her what he said. And again, Sienna is very demanding. Tell me, you need to tell me. And it's like, girl, once again, sure, should you be able to have conversations with your partner about these types of things first before you go tell someone else? Of course. But the way that Sienna is like demanding that Brandan has to tell, it's not. I don't know, like, it's so toxic to me. So at this point, they continue to fight, and it's like everyone thinks this is over. Brandan goes out and he is talking with Shay and I think Chris, Shay, and somebody else was out there. Josh. Chris, Shay, and Josh were out there. And so he's talking with them. And it's like, at this point, everybody's like, you know, what is going on with you two? So Shay and Sienna also have a conversation in the bathroom, and they're just talking about how it's strange how he won't tell Sienna what was said in the conversation. I mean, Shay's like, why won't he tell you? But again, even Shay in the later conversation realizes, like, Sienna's a lot. Like, she is a lot. So Sienna comes down at one point, throws these roses at Brandan, and at this point, these two are looking absolutely done. So they're probably, I would presume, the next couple to go. So that's all. So that is all for the Never Ever Mets episodes 2 and 3. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. What couples do you think are doomed? Do you buy Josh's story about the baby? Let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you made it till here, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, so if you haven't hit subscribe, please hit subscribe, okay? It helps the channel. If you already subscribed, please like the videos, interact with them, comment with them. As I said, my little channel's growing. I'm almost at 450 subscribers, which is so great. But anywho, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.